Okay, so we're going to look at some more proofs. This is lesson n4-3, and we're just going to look to see what we can do with these. We've created an identity checklist. These are some things you can look for as you're working on your problems, and will help you keep organized as you're going through, because as it gets more complicated, sometimes we need a little assistance. Okay. So we're going to look at this first example. Now, it says work only on one side. Choose the more complex side. So when you look at these, you're going to have to decide which one's more complex. Okay, so just in looking at these, I'm going to kind of do these all at once. To me, this side is more complex because it's got fractions and the subtraction and addition, whereas this is just one term, so it seems less complex. So I'm going to say this is more complex. Okay. All right. For example 2, while this had a fraction and the subtraction, cotangent and cosecant, because they have more identities involved, I decided that this would be my more complex side. Okay. And then with the last one, again, even though there's fractions here, secant and tangent are, and we're squaring them and everything, that's going to be more complex. Okay, so that's kind of an opinion, but I usually look for which one has more identities that I can use off the bat, and so kind of go there. Okay. All right, so we've done that. Work only one side, choosing the more complex side. Look for algebraic manipulations. So can we add fractions? We have fractions here. Maybe we can add them together. Can we factor something? Can we multiply? And then can we substitute in some trig? And then keep looking at the answer. What can I do to this to get to that? Okay, so those are all helpful little hints. So let's take a look here at number 1 specifically. Okay, so in looking at this, I said they're fractions. They have to have common denominators. So we're going to multiply 1 times 1 plus secant x. All right, and we're going to multiply 1 minus secant x times 1 plus secant x. And then we're going to add to that 1 times 1 minus secant x over 1 minus secant x times 1 plus secant x. Okay, so I'm looking here and here, and when I multiply by 1, that's really just 1 plus secant x and 1 minus secant x. So since I have common denominators, I can now add my numerator. So I have 1 plus secant x plus 1 minus secant x. Okay. And then I can go ahead and multiply 1 minus secant x times 1 plus secant x, and hopefully you recognize that that's an a minus b times a plus b situation. So we'd have 1 minus secant squared x. Okay. Okay. Okay, so simplifying the top, secant, take away secant is 0, 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 minus secant squared x, if you check your identities list, you'll see that 1 minus secant squared x is related to the tangent squared x. I'm just going to do a little work over here. Our identity is 1 plus tangent squared x equals secant squared x. Okay, so if I want it to be 1 minus secant squared x, so I'm going to subtract the secant squared x. So I get 1, and also from the other side. So I get 1 minus secant squared x plus tangent squared x equals 0. It's not quite what I wanted. I want 1 minus secant squared x. So I need to subtract the tangent squared x. So I know that 1 minus secant squared x is equal to negative tangent squared x. Okay, that's not necessary to prove, but I just wanted to show you where I'm getting this next step. So 1 minus secant squared x is equal to negative tangent squared x. Okay. All right. Now, each one of these statements is equal to negative 2 cotangent squared x. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. Been a little lazy on writing that down because just it's one of those things. I get going on the left and forget about the right. Okay. All right. So we're still looking. How do we get this to be this? Okay. And let me quickly erase this over here so that it doesn't get in my way. All right. So I'm looking tangent squared x. Well, tangent's related to cotangent in that, right, we have tangent of x is equal to 1 over cotangent. Or cotangent of x is equal to 1 over tangent. So since tangent's on bottom here, that, right, I could replace tangent squared x being in the denominator with cotangent squared x being in the numerator. So I'm going to write 2 times cotangent squared x, sorry, negative, right, because it was negative tangent, is equal to negative 2 cotangent squared x. And that simplifies to negative 2 cotangent squared x is equal to negative 2 cotangent squared x. Okay, so here we've chosen that cotangent x minus cosecant x was more complex. Okay, so we're just going to leave cosine x minus 1 over sine x right here, and then we're going to look at cotangent x and cosecant x. Well, I know that cotangent x is equivalent to cosine x divided by sine x. And cosecant is equivalent to 1 over sine x. And because these are fractions and they have the common denominator, I know that I can subtract those. So cosine x minus 1 over sine x. And that is a match for the left-hand side. So I'm already done. Okay, they don't have to be long, right? Yay! Okay, so on number 3, we have 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x, and we're looking to change secant x plus tangent x squared into 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. Okay, so when I was looking at this, I thought, okay, secant x is 1 over cosine, and tangent is sine x over cosine x. Okay, which, since we have common denominator, we would have 1 plus sine x over cosine x, and that's squared. Okay, so when we multiply, when we look at that, that's 1 plus sine x times 1 plus sine x over cosine squared x. Okay, and cosine squared x, we have our identities that let us know that cosine squared x is equal to 1 minus sine squared x. So I went ahead and changed that. So that's 1 plus sine x times 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine squared x. Okay, so we got a little more work to do because we're not quite there yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down what the left-hand side was now that it's off the screen. So that was 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. Okay, that's what we're going for. Okay, so 1 minus sine squared x, hopefully you recognize that from all the work we've done so far. That's a squared minus b squared. So we can factor that, and that will be 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. And our numerator is still 1 plus sine x times 1 plus sine x. Okay, and we have 1 plus sine x divided by 1 plus sine x, which leaves us 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. And that's what we wanted. That was our original left-hand side. So we're done. Go us. Yay.